Hello everybody. In this screencast we're going to look at an assignment related to scrollable lists. So basically we look at list views, recycler views. I think this assignment is mainly focuses on list views. It's already posted on the GitHub repository. Okay, so basically it's three screens. The first screen is app categories. It shows you some categories. And basically you click, this is a list view. You click on this specific category, it goes to the next screen. And then it shows up here and it's three fragments, an activity and three fragments. Okay, so it's one activity, multiple fragments. Okay. First fragment, second fragment, third fragment. And then the second fragment receives the category. And then basically you send it the category and basically it displays the apps of that category. All right, so now we need to figure out how to get that list. We do provide you with the data services class, which provides you with the categories, and then you give it the category, gives you the list of applications. And this is another list view. And then when you click on an app, you go to the next screen, and that screen shows up the app details. And basically you display the app, and then each app has genres. You just display the genres in also a list view. So basically this app, mainly you are focusing on using list views. All right, so we're going to use list views to display this. And 1, 2, 3, we have three fragments. So basically I opened up the starter application and the starter project. The starter project has a data services class, and you see here that it has this code that actually adds apps into these lists. These are the different categories, and basically there is a method called get categories and get apps by category. You give it the category and it returns back for you a list of applications. And basically it's straightforward. And then there is an app class, and this is the information in the app class, and we go from there. So basically let me do also a getter and setter for the variables here. Getter and setter for all of these. Here we are. Good. So that's just the data services class. I'll update it such that it has these getters and setters even in the skeleton file. All right. So how do we build this? We start off by creating the layouts for the three fragments. So let's create these fragments first. I'll go here, right click, new fragment, and a blank fragment. And the first one, I'm going to call it the app categories fragment. So I'll just call it categories fragment. Here's app categories fragment. Here it is. Gories fragment. Here it is. So it created the app categories fragment. Here we are. And then similarly, the top this is one, or the apps list fragment. So this is called the apps list fragment. Okay, new fragment blank, and this is going to be the apps list fragment. Here it is. There's another fragment. And then finally I have the app details fragment. So basically right click, new fragment, and it's a blank fragment, and this is going to be called the app details fragment. So I have the three fragments already created. I have their layout. So let's go and create the layout look at the layouts and see what I would like to do. So let's look at the app categories. This is the app categories fragment. And now if I would like to see only this screen. So let me just clean up my organize my screen a little bit so that we could only see the app categories. And basically it has a label at the top, and then under it there is a list view. So for me to do that, again, these fragments come with a frame layout. I'll just convert it into a constraint layout, and here we are. We have a constraint layout now. Here it is. You see it's a constraint layout. And then what I would like to do is basically add a text view at the top. Here we are. There's 1, 2, and 3, and I could add a little bit of a margin at the top. And here is the welcome. Make it a little bit bigger, bold, maybe 20, and that's the welcome. Okay, I can have a string that shows welcome here. So here it is, string value, welcome, welcome, and welcome. All right, so I have my welcome, and then basically here I would like to have a list view. All right, so I go here and I type in list view, and here we go. Here is one. Here is my list view, and basically I'd like to set up the constraints 1, 2, 3, and 4. Maybe give it a little bit of a margin here. Now with list views, you have to pay attention to something very important. The width, for example, we'll just make it its width 0. You see here, I clicked several times until the width 0. Similarly, with the height, I would like to click once until the height is 0. Why? Because I would like it to, if you fix its height to a specific number, not 0, then it is going to be fixed to that height, and that would avoid it from scrolling, right? So anyhow, so I need to set up my constraint. I set up my constraints for the list view, give it a name. I'll call it, let's see, list view, and I have my list view set up here. All right, so I have my list view set up for the categories screen. Now let's look at the next screen, which is, this is the app categories, and then I want to do the apps list. Right, the apps list is very straightforward. I don't need, I can go in here and add it as a constraint layout. So I change it to a constraint layout again. And now here, basically, this one, I'd like to make it as just a big list view. So we go here, I'll do list view, drag, drop. So I have my list view, set up my constraints. Here it is. And then again, I click once, click here twice. So I have the list view now hugging all the sides of the parent. And in addition to that, I also, it has, let me make it all zeros. I can give it a little bit of a padding, the root layout. Here is my list view, and I'll call it list view also. Here we are. Okay, so I have built this screen also. All right, now we close this one. And then finally the app details, here we are. And then similarly, here it is. I'm gonna change this into, I right click, convert it to this, and here we go. And I will remove this from here. And then if you look a little bit here, it has text view, text view, text view, and then another text view, and then a list view. Okay, so here's text view, and another text view. And then basically there is a third text view, and then I'll add the list view at the end. All right, so here we are. Here is 1, 2, and then 3. Give it a little bit of a margin. Let's say 8. Make this a little bit bigger. Here it is, and that's going to be the app name, and then that's going to be the application name. Here it is. I'll call it app name. Here it is, app name. Here we are, and click once and click twice. Okay, I'll put a padding in the whole screen. It makes it easier because it seems I will need it. Padding 10 dp. Go back again, and here we are. This is the app name. Can make it centered. It is centered now. All right, here is the app name. And then similarly, I want the artist name. Here is the artist name. 1, 2. Similarly, this is going to be the release date. Here is the release date. Then we go up here, a little bit of a margin. There it is. Okay, and similarly here, another one, and a little bit of margin. Okay, good. So now we are here. 1, 2, and then similarly here. 1, 2, go down a little bit. This is centered, and here we go. This is centered, and then the genre we're going to go to the side under here, and basically we need a little bit of a margin also. Make it bold, and click here, and we're gonna call it genres. Here it is. Okay, let me edit it. Can I edit it? Let's see. So where is the string here? I didn't enter the correct text, but anyhow, here's strings, and I'm going to, oops. Okay, and this is going to be genres. Here it is. All right. Okay, so then we click here, genres, and here we go. This is the genres. Okay, I picked the wrong one, it seems. Okay, and then I would like to add the list view. Here's my list view. Drag, and I'm gonna drop here, and then I'm going to make this one under this. Here it is, and then this one is here. Click once, and click once here. Now also make sure to set up the height and width constraints. Here it is. You see both of them are zeros. Maybe give this a little bit of a margin, and you have your genres down here. All right, so basically we did create the layout. Now let's give them some interesting names. So this is also, I'm going to call it list view. There's that, and then basically this is going to be the artist name. Okay, artist name, and then basically this one is the release date. Okay. Okay, so now I have the layouts already done. This is the app name, artist name, and this is the list view that will hold the genres. So I have the layouts done, right? Now I don't need these. Okay, let's go back here and let's figure out what happens. So basically the main activity, we need to go in and edit its layout such that we can give an ID, because that's going to be the container. This is going to be root view. That's the root container, and that's all I need with the main activity. I go here to the main activity, and when the main activity starts, you just have to ask yourself, we need to go to the app categories screen. All right, so now to do that, I will just do get support fragment manager, get support fragment manager dot begin transaction dot commit, and then add r.id dot root view new app categories fragment. All right, so here it is. So we have that. If we run it, okay, so now once it runs, let me run it on the newer IDE. So I'll close this one. Let's go here and pick 31. Let me delete the other ones. I don't need these. This, and also I don't need this one. Only 31. I'm gonna keep it. So, and then let's run it on it. Here we are. Device manager. Now it's going to run. Okay, good. So now here we are, and it gets us here. Cool. So basically what is displaying right now is the app categories fragment. Now, okay, so now in the app categories fragment, when you go to it, what we'd like to ask ourselves, it comes with all this. Does it receive any data at startup or at initialization? No. So basically all of this code we don't need, right? So all of this we don't need. We don't need, oops, what is that? We don't need, let me disable the completion. All right, so here it is. We don't need all of this code also. Okay. We don't need this new instance method, because that's what we need if you are going to initialize it with some data and so on. Now let's see if did they enable view binding? Yes, I have view build features here, and view binding is enabled. Excellent. So now let me set up the binding for this. So basically, if binding, what I will do is the layout is called fragment app categories. So it's going to be fragment app categories binding, and binding, here it is. And then basically I'd like to initialize binding equals fragment dot inflator container false, and then you return the root. So basically return binding dot get root, and we're good to go with the binding situation here. So I have the binding setup. Now what I would like to do is on view created, and then I could do the setup it to show the, let me open the preview. Let's do this preview. I will open file, open recent. Let me open in class 5 again. So basically if you look here, you will see that this is what we're trying to look at, and it says welcome already, and then I would like to show the app categories. Perfect. And you see it's a very simple layout. So basically I could use the Android provided layout, which we showed in the discussed videos for this course. All right. Now what I would like to do is set up the adapter. So you will need an adapter, right? So basically I know that I will need an adapter, and I will just use the default array adapter. So basically there is an array adapter, and then it's going to hold string as the category, and I will call it adapter. Okay, this is adapter, and here it is. So now how do I initialize that adapter? Here I'm going to initialize the adapter equals new array adapter, and then first thing is that what does it need? It needs, if you hover over, you see there is a lot of different implementations for it. So basically either I'll give it a context, give it the resource ID of the layout itself, and then the resource ID of the string, or the resource ID of the context, the resource ID of the layout, and the list of objects that you would like to display. Okay, so basically the context is get activity, right? And then the layout is Android android.r.layout.simple_list_item1, right, which only has a text view inside it, and then basically the list of objects. The list of objects is straightforward. What I could do is I will need an array list, and I will call it of string, and I'll call it for categories. That's the array list of categories. And then basically when I come here, I'm going to say categories equals data services dot get categories, and it returns to you get categories, returns an array list, and that array list is what I'm going to pass on here. All right, cool. So now I have set up the adapter, right? I need to tell the list view, so I'll use binding.listView.set adapter to the adapter that I created. So now I have created the adapter. I use the default adapter. I also use the Android provided simple list item layout, pass it the categories, and then the adapter will I tell the set the adapter of the list view. So now the list view is aware of the adapter, and that should take care of drawing the layout. The layout is going to work, and it's going to populate it with the list of components. So here it is, the list of categories. Maybe I need the title here to say categories, or what does it say? It says app categories. So that's what I'm going to do. Get activity.set title, and I'll say app categories. Now when I do that, it will show app categories. So now run this, it will show app categories at the top. All right. Now when you click, I would like to go to somewhere else. This means that I need to communicate with the activity to load another fragment, right? Okay, good. So basically when I do this, let's say, and basically when you click, I'd like to find out which category did you click on, right? Okay. So now in order to do this, it's straightforward. We do binding.listView.set on item click listener. Here it is. New on item click listener. And basically the on item click listener, you see that it gives you the position of the item in the list that you clicked on. So basically I can get the item string category equals categories dot get at position. So I have the category already. Now I just need to send it to the activity so that the activity can load the next screen. So basically this means I need to communicate with the activity. If you need to communicate with an activity, you need an interface. So here is an interface, app categories listener, here it is, and void send selected category, right? Here it is, string category, here it is. So basically, this is all what it does. You send it the category and so on. Now we need to also implement we need to include the code for the on attach listener. So we need to initialize mListener, and we do that in on attach, and we say mListener equals context, equals the context, cast it to the interface. All right, so basically here all we do is mListener dot send category, and here is my category. So cool. So basically now the activity needs to implement this interface. We go back to the activity, we do implements the interface. Here we are, implement methods, and there is only one method. So now what do we do with this method? Basically we need to go to the next screen, right? We need to get to the next screen, and we need to send the category to the next screen. The next screen is the app list fragment, apps list fragment. So this means we're going to send it a category. This means at initialization, we want to send it the category string that we retrieved. So in order to do that, we just have to go in here and add the code that is required to implement the new instance method, right? So I'll remove all of that comment stuff that I don't need. I know exactly what I need to do. I need a parameter. I'm going to call it category. Category. Here it is. Here's the category. This is the string that's going to hold the key, right? So the key in when you are trying to retrieve it from the bundle. Okay, and basically we're going to remove that stuff here. This is going to be called mCategory. That's the parameter that we're going to retrieve from the bundle. And here you're going to send me the category. Here it is, and then it's only one parameter that you're sending me, which is the category, and then put string. It's a string, so arg category, and it is category. Here we are, and then in the on create we receive it, so m category equals arg category, and we're good here. So we did do the implementation required. Basically, you have the category, and you have the parameter that we used here. We add it into the bundle, and let's also do binding here. So let's initialize the binding app. It's called Fragment apps list. So basically, the class name is going to be Fragments app list binding. Fragment app list apps list binding. Here is the binding, and then there are 2 lines that we need to write. Binding equals fragment app list binding inflator container false, and then we return the root. So return binding dot get root, and we're good here with this method. All right, now we have another method called on view created, and then here we would like to, so we already have the category, right? So basically now we need a list of apps. So basically we go here, we create a private list of applications. So we need a private, I'll call it apps maybe list equal new. Okay, so that's the app list. So it's going to be an array list of apps, and this is going to be called the apps array list. All right. So now how do I get the apps array list? Straightforward. When I am here, I'll do apps array list dot apps array list equals data services, okay, dot get apps by category, and I pass it on the category category, and that gives me the array list of apps. So basically at that stage, when I come in here, I have what the category is, and I can make it the title. So basically I can say get activity dot set title to category, right? So basically I can set it the title. I have the list of apps. Now all what I need to do is just to set up the adapter. Now if we look at this a little bit here, we'll see that the adapter, this is not a simple layout. You see here it only had a string, so that's why I could use the default adapter easily. Here I need to implement my own adapter, okay, because now this has 1, 2, 3 strings. I need to create a custom layout and create my own adapter. Okay, so I'm going to implement the adapter here. So I can implement it here. I'll say, for example, it's a class. I'll call it apps adapter, and it extends array adapter, and the object that we are interested in is app. So now this is an array adapter. It's not happy because it needs a constructor, and so here is a constructor, and then you look at which constructor you would like to use, and basically I'm going to use this constructor, okay, which, because I'm going to use a list, I need a list to back the app. So here it is. This is the adapter. I have a list of apps that I'm going to pass on. So here we are. We have the adapter implemented. The most important method is get view. Here is the method, and basically get view should return the view that represents each row. So it should represent each row. So now I need to create a list, a custom view. So I'll go in here. Maybe I'll copy. I can create a new one. Right click, new layout resource file, and I'm going to call it app list item. All right. So basically it created for me an app list item, and basically I know it will have 1, 2, 3 text views. Here is 1, here is 2, and here is 3 text views. And I can add a little bit of a padding. Let's see. Let's say 10 dp. There it is. So I have my design back again. I go here, 1, 2, and 3, and similarly 1, 2, and 3, and I can put a little bit of a margin here, and then this one I can click 1, 2, and similarly here 1, 2 to set up the width, and then on the far side of things I can put this one and give it a little bit of a margin, and here we go. So I have the app name, the artist name, and the release date already set up. This is gonna be the text view, and I'm gonna call it app name. Here it is. Continue anyway. Here it is. And then similarly the next one is going to be the artist name. This one is going to be the artist name. Continue anyway. and then the last one is going to be the release date. Okay, release date, and here we are, and continue. Okay, so the constraint layout, you see it when I click on the constraint layout, which is the parent of all of them, you see it takes the whole screen. I'm not interested in it taking the whole screen. I'm interested in it only wrapping around the content here, right? So basically I click on this and I scroll down a little bit. You see that the height is match parent. I click on wrap content, and you see that now the constraint layout screen only wraps its content, because this layout is going to represent each row. This is what getView in the adapter should return. Okay, so we go back here. Now we are here, and basically getView, you see here there is a convert view. This is a view from the pool. So basically this is all boilerplate code. I'll check to see if convert view is equal to null. This means this should be inflated. So convert view equals get layout inflator dot inflate, and we want to inflate what? We want to inflate something, and this is r dot, this is what we're going to inflate, and then the root, which is the convert view, and then the attach will indicate it as false, right? It's very similar to the inflator we had up here, right? Okay, so that, what's our resource? r dot layout dot app list item, and then the convert view, not the convert view, sorry, the parent, and then false. All right, so that which should give us the convert view. So it creates a convert view for us. Very nice. So either it is null or it is not null, and what we return at the end is going to be the convert view. Okay, so here we are. Now what do we do here is, let's say we want now to populate the convert view. We know the convert view has 1, 2, 3 components, and they are all I'll copy this from here, 1, 2, 3, right? And they are all text views. So basically I'll have these here. Here is text views, Control C. So I'll say, for example, text view, this equals convert view dot find view by id ir dot id dot the name of it here. So basically notice that it is very similar to find view by id, but you're not finding view by id anywhere, you're finding it in the convert view, right? And similarly, the name of the artist and the release date of the artist. Here is the release date and release date of the art here of the app. Here it is. So I have all from that convert view. I can retrieve these different layout items, and now basically I need to figure out what is the app that I would like to present. So here is the app, and options enter, and this is an app equals get item at position. So basically you see here it gives you the position. We could just tell it to get me the item, and it's a method that is in the array adapter, you know, that's part of the array adapter, get item. That's why when we initialize the array adapter, we need to pass it the list of objects, and this list of objects goes to super, and super is the array adapter. So we are telling it about the object. So then when you say get item at that position, it goes to this list of objects and get you the item at that position. All right, so I have the app. Now all I could do is I could say text view app name dot set text app dot get name. Here it is one. Text view dot artist name dot set text app dot get artist name, and here we are. And then text view dot release date dot set text to app dot get release date. All right, so basically you see here we got the app, we populated the text views with the corresponding components or the corresponding items or attributes of the app, and then we return the convert view. Okay, so now we have the adapter already implemented. Now we can just go ahead and we need to have an adapter. Here is the adapter, and then basically we'll initialize it here. We'll say, okay, the adapter equals new array adapter, apps adapter. And then basically you see here this adapter, the constructor requires some resource. I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to do the resource is r.layout.applistItem. And basically I'm just going to send it the context and the list of objects. So the context is get activity, and then the list of objects is the app array list. So basically I have the adapter setup. Now I'll do binding.listview.set adapter to adapter. So basically adapter. So basically here you create the adapter, and then you tell the list view about the adapter. So now let's run this again. And here we go. You will see that This is the list of items. Now let's say we click on new apps we love. We click on it, nothing happens. Now let's see why nothing happens, because we need to go back to the app categories fragment. When you click, it goes and calls the send selected category. So we go here, send selected category. We didn't do much. We need to get support fragment manager dot begin transaction dot commit, and then basically we need to replace r.id.root view with what? With the app list fragment dot new instance, and we pass it the category that we received, right? And then we maybe add to backstack, and so basically you see here I did not do new app list fragment. Instead I used app list fragment dot new instance, which is the method that we implemented here. You see here the method that we implemented here that takes care of sending the category, putting it in a bundle, adding it in the arguments, and retrieving it back in the onCreate. So now let's run it and see. Here we are. I click on this apps we love, and you can see that it shows what? It shows the name of the apps and so on, and these are the apps you love. Go back, click on top paid apps, and these are the top paid applications. And you go back, and games we love, and you could see this, each one of them is the layout. So basically if I want to make one of them, let's say of these layout, I would like to make this guy a little bit bold. So make it bold. Here's bold, and make it a little bit bigger. So let's say 16. Now when I run the app again, you will see that each row will change. See here when you pick apps we love, and you see here now that the row is. So basically this app list item is just the layout for each row, and then the adapter needs to feed the list view each row as get view it gets called. That's why we implemented get view, and get view gives you the complete control of what you display in each row. All right. Okay, so we are done with this part. Now we want to go to the next screen. Same story. So we go back to the app list fragment. We're going to click. So basically if we're going to click, we need to set up the click handler on the list view. It is binding the list view dot set on item click listener new on item click listener. So here it is. Now I need to get the app that you picked. Here is the app equals apps array list dot get at position, and you see here the on click item gives you the position, right? So I have the app that you clicked on. I need to send that app through an interface to the main activity. So now I go back here, implement an interface, apps list listener, here it is, and then void send selected app. Here is app, and here is app. So basically that's what I'm going to do, and then we do the same exact thing where we go in mListener and then on attach. mListener, here it is, on attach, mListener equals the context. All right. So now here all we are going to do is going to do mListener dot send the selected app, and we send it the app, and we're good to go. Okay, cool. So now we're good here. We're going to go to the main activity and need to implement. So we comma enter, and here is the listener, options enter, import the class, implement the method, and here we go. Cool. So we will receive the app here, and we would like to go to the next screen, which is the app details fragment. So it will have exactly the same code that we have here, but instead of the new instance being on the app list fragment, it's going to be the app details fragment, and we have an app that we're going to send. So if you look at the data services, you will see that the app implements serializable, because in order to insert it in the bundle, it has to implement serializable. So let's see. So that's why you see here it implements serializable. See, cool. So now let's go to the app details fragment. Now we need this stuff. So basically here it's going to be app. I'm going to receive an app, right? So basically let's do this. This is the key that we're going to use in the bundle. Here's the key. We don't need the other. We don't need both of these items. We need an app here. Here is app. Here it is, and this is going to be app. Here we are. Okay, good. So we are good with all of this so far. The new instance is going to receive an app, right? It is app, and we are not going to insert a string, but we're going to put a serializable. Here it is, and the key is arg underscore app, and we're gonna put the app. And then in the onCreate, we're gonna retrieve app, get arguments, get serializable, and arg app. So we have the app, and we're good here. We don't need the second parameter here. It's only one parameter, at least for this use case. So we're only going to use one parameter. And we have the new instance implemented. This is not happy because it needs to be casted to an app. Good. So we have our app. Let's set up our binding also. Fragment app details binding, and here's the binding. And then we need to add the 2 lines for the binding, which is binding equals fragment binding dot inflate, and it is the inflator container false, and then we return binding dot get root. Return binding dot get root, and we're good to go here till here. All right. So now let's go back to the main activity. Instead of apps list, we are going to app details fragment, and new instance we pass on the app. Okay. So basically we're going to replace the screen with the app details fragment and just pass it the app. We receive the app here. Okay, we receive the app and we have the app, and then we do on view created, and then basically when you look at on view created, the title is app details. Good. So we go here, we do get activity dot set title app details, and then basically I can start off by just doing this part where I could just display the app name, artist name, and the release date. Perfect. So I can do binding dot text view app name dot set title, set text, I mean control Z, set text to app dot get name. Here it is. Binding dot text view artist name dot set text mapp dot get artist name. There we are. And then binding dot text view release date dot set text mapp dot get release date. So here we are. I'm able to display all of them. So now when I run this, you see I'm able to display. We look at the genres in a little bit, but it's still straightforward. We go here, you click on apps we love, click on HBO. I'm showing HBO, and so on. I go back, click on this one, and here it is. And click on this, click on back, because when you click back, it pops the back stack. Here it is. You see here, I'm showing the calm. Scroll down a little bit. Here is heads up, and so on. So basically, I'm able to go from categories to the listing of apps, and then I'm able to go and display the details of an app. Now, genres is also straightforward because now I'm going to, there is a list. So basically, there is a list view here. We already have a list view in the layout. So now basically, I have to have a list of genres. So string, an array list. Here is an array list. Do I have to? I always like to an array to store these in a variable inside the fragment or the activity. So I'll call it genres. Yeah, here is my list of genres. Now basically to get the genres, I'm going to say genres equals app get genres. This gives me the genres. I have the genres already. I need an adapter. I'll do an array adapter string, and I'm going to call it adapter. Here it is. And then basically we initialize the adapter. We'll say adapter equals new array adapter, and it needs the context, get activity, and then comma the layout Android. So I'm going to use the default Android one because it's just a string, right? If it is more complicated, I have to extend and build my own adapter. So Android .r.layout simple list item 1, and then what are the objects? Here is genres. Here it is. So I have already the adapter implemented, right? Here is the adapter, and then I'll do binding dot list view dot set adapter to the adapter I just created. So now when I run it, it should display the list of genres. Here we are. Apps we love, Pokemon Go, and these are the genres for that. I click back, Super Bowl rolls, here's the genres for that. Now we go back, Calm, these are the genres for that, and so on. So now let's do ASP and sports, entertainment and sports. These are the genres. So we are able to implement and go over this process of building this app using ListViews. Okay. So please let me know if you have any questions.